So here I am here in Botafogo Bay, and what you can see just behind me is Botafogo Bay itself with the Sugarloaf Mountain. Don't know if you can see that on camera. Right over there you can see Christ the Redeemer. As you can see, him overlooking the city and the beach and the area of Rio. And right in the center of the screen, what's more important than me answering another person's question. I can't remember who sent this one in because it's ages back, I answered it on email, but I thought I would verbalize it because it applies to a lot of people. The question is, what do I do with my partner always trying to get me to eat bad foods? It's a question and a problem that a lot of people have, and again, there's a couple of things I would come down to and say about it. One of them is that all pressure has to be relating onto something on you, because if it wasn't on you as well, it just wouldn't sit. So, you know, I haven't drunk for years upon years. If I go in the pub and someone harasses me, there's no pressure because I have no desire to drink and it's never even going to cross my mind. So it's not a pressure. But if, you know, somebody's offering me food I like and I don't want to eat it, then you'll feel that pressure because a part of me would want to eat it. So that's the first thing to understand, is that a part of you must want it if you're feeling pressure, because if you didn't want it, it would just be water off a duck's back. So understanding that is a helpful thing. So in that sense, the way to tackle it is to look at some of the other issues we've talked about elsewhere on, if I've got a food that I want to eat and I shouldn't eat it, a chocolate bar, whatever, how do I handle that? So the same rules will apply as it would just if you're on your own eating it. What's an alternative I can have that's not as bad? Is this a pure calorie need? As in, am I just way under eating for the day and need some food? If that's the case, then we're going to have to find some food to replace it with what your husband or partner is pressuring you to eat. And then in regards to direct pressure of a partner, a couple of things you've got to do. One, you've got to establish boundaries. And two, you've got to sell it to them a little bit, because what happens is sometimes the pressure we get from people is in our best interest as far as they're viewing things. So their thinking is, food makes me or her or him happy. I want them to be happy. I'm going to offer them a chocolate bar, a cake, whatever it may be. For you to then, you know, some days take it, some days not take it, it gives very mixed messages about what to do. So you can't really blame them for offering you this food when they think it makes you happy and they want to make you happy and so forth. So what you have to do is you have to get quite consistent with your yeses and your nos. Now, not necessarily you have to say yes all the time or no all the time, but when you say it, you mean it. Because that's where people go wrong. You don't have to be 100% with anything. But what I don't want is, if I'm going to say no, to have 5 minutes of people trying to coax me, only for me to then say yes. It's sort of like a little game which they know if they try hard enough, they are going to give in. So I think that's a real important thing. When you say no, you mean no. And if you're going to say yes, then that's fine, have that. But don't let them learn that you can be conditioned either way. Another side of things you want to look is, when you're saying no, is to give a reason that's genuinely and congruently valid. So a lot of people do is they say no and then they look so miserable, you think they've been shot. When you should really say is, no, that's it. You don't need to explain yourself. Look, they go these big long dramas of explaining themselves. Just say no, leave it, be forceful with the no, and people will give up. People don't keep trying to harass you if you always say no and you never do it. They soon begin to learn what's going on. Then you sell it. Oh wow, I felt great for saying no tonight. I felt good for not having this so much in my diet. And all of a sudden you're beginning to get support. Then the final aspect you've got to be key with, I think a lot of people struggle on this, is just because you're doing something doesn't mean your partner has to do it too. And that's why we often get into trouble. Because if you want to get a lot of kickback and, you know, negative support, then try and make them change when they really don't want to. You're going to get some kickback and they're going to be trying to, you know, get around it, get you to fail so they can have it, and so forth. You want to say is, hey, look, you can have that, all the more for you, but I'm not going to have that today, I'll have it another time. And that's fairly congruent and fairly true. There's a good chance you're going to have it another time, and today's not the day, and so forth. If you do this a few times, so you have to condition it, it doesn't happen just like that, you have to condition it, it will become quite easy to say no. But my general experience with this problem is, it's all about you and it's not about them. If you can take away that own urge within yourself, the rest is pretty easy. So that comes back to the general question, how do I stop my own food cravings? And this, in a simple, you know, stopgap solution, is to find a food that's not as bad, to find the calorie amount per food and replace it with healthier food. So if it's a 500 calorie chocolate bar I'll eat, then find 500 calories of healthier food, be it fruit, so forth. And then it's looking at the other aspects, the conditioning patterns, how to break the connections, how to bring down motions and stress, and so forth. Your overall diet and contribution to nutritional cravings. That's a slightly bigger picture, but it's equally as important in the long-term solution. So I hope that helps anybody who has that same problem. I'll catch you in the next video.